Hello and welcome back. Unfortunately, Ashley cannot be here tonight. We're missing Pike, sadly. I'll be controlling her as the terrible AI for the evening. Apologies in advance, guys. She's only your healer. As a quick overview as to where we were, the party essentially was given a quest from the capital city of Iman to find the missing folk hero, Lady Kima of Vord, a halfling paladin, very well known, who has gone missing while on a pilgrimage vision quest over the past year. She'd been missing for a number of weeks, nearly months at this point, and you were sent to the dwarven city of Craghammer to find and bring her back safely. After going to the city, you discovered that she had delved into the mines, seeking some sort of extremely dark evil that was seated somewhere deep beneath Craghammer proper. In searching for her, you managed to find your way through the mines into the entrance passage into the Underdark. Underdark, which is a very scary place. You've encountered a number of subterranean beasts and creatures, some of which are unnaturally mutated or altered by some sort of magic you cannot place. Upon going through these caverns, a few battles with Duragar, the ashen-skinned evil subterranean dwarves, further subterranean dwarves, I guess you'd say, and encountered your first mind flayers, Ithilids, which seem to have allied strangely with the Duragar. Normally enemies by nature, they're working together under what you've discovered senses a common enemy referred to as Kavarn. Nothing really is known of Kavarn other than it has a great power and has united these two forces for some nefarious purpose. Apparently these abominations and these strange mutations you've encountered, these experiments, also seem to have been created by Kavarn, though no one knows quite why or how. As you traversed down, you managed to befriend a Arcanist Mind Flayer that was cast out from the colony, named Clarota, who has aided you under the intent that you would help him free his people of the slavery of Kavarn and release the Mind Flayers to their own normal state of mind. And you made your way to the Duragar Fortress Emberhold, found and released Lady Kima, who underwent many, many weeks of torturous experiences to come through, still firm of mind and ready to kick some ass. Through a very painful battle in the Emberhold, you managed to pull your party out. Only a few of them turned to stone, and with a foot burned off. and Grog being dominated and grog-napped by the surviving queen, Duragar Queen Ulara. So the party then, in trying to locate Grog's position, found their way delving past the lava fall-based element of the obsidian rock, Duragar Underdark, deeper into discovering this cursed kind of pit of undeath bone shards and glass. Upon traversing it, they encountered one of these abominations that you've seen traces of left before, this weird partial elven, partial tentacle monstrosity that slashed through your party, nearly killed Trinket, but was defeated by you. You managed to make your way across this bone field and discover what appears to be a camp across a number of pillars in the distance. Vax went ahead and stealthed up, looked over and saw that there was a camp of Duragar, and apparently the surviving Queen Ulara, giving them orders, next to Grog, who is currently bolted by iron bands to some sort of a cart that they've been dragging him through this tunnel passage with. And that is where we have left off.
I think I've got a plan.
Oh, because I did too.
You have a plan?
No, I want to hear yours.
So
let's do them both without telling and just see what happens.
I'll Rochambeau you. Keyleth can melt through rock. So if we can get the attention of everyone who's guarding Grog, she could slip through while we're drawing them out and get through and let him go in the midst of the fight.
That works with my plan.
That works with your plans.
My plan was to go in there and distract them while you did something.
That's perfect plan.
I like that plan.
I hadn't completed the thought because something hadn't been worked
You were
out.
80%
Yes.
No, I'm still
up and
there.
hiding.
That raises the stakes.
Last week I said, "Come up now."
Oh, right.
And that's when he called.
And I already taken off, so I'm already headed there.
So as Tiberius coasts up along the back portion of Vax's arrival point, you notice one of the Duragar kind of looks over his shoulder in your direction
Plan over.
and begins to make a few steps in that direction.
And
I'm just
grab
saying-
Tiberius by the snout and pull him back around the edge of that rock.
That's what I said
I'm
last
doing
week.
it.
I'm just
doing
continuing
it.
because I remember it when we looked up.
Okay.
Dagger out,
I followed
pulling my dagger
As soon
out.
as he did that, I was like, I followed.
All right.
And I'm throwing a knife into the dwarf's neck.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, and that.
Well, that's very
stealthy at all.
All right. So the rest of you guys go ahead and roll stealth.
All right.
He's not waiting.
We've been doing this for 30 seconds. We're already in a fight.
I'm not going to stand here and wait for the door guard to walk around the corner.
distract them too.
I'm going in. I'm walking into the camp.
All right.
Wait, okay, wait.
Because I rolled
Are
a
we
9.
just abandoning the plan?
No, we're just going for it right now.
All right.
As Scanlan approaches, the Durgar immediately turns around. The Durgar just looks behind, gives you a glance, so you can see his eyes, normally kind of pupilless eyes of the ashy-skinned Durgar, kind of are now glowing with an odd, dull green color that you haven't seen in Durgar previously. And he starts rushing towards you. He's going to make a simultaneous round rushing up to you for an attack, while you release your 2 attacks against him,
Yes.
and you release your dagger. All right, the first Durgar swings at you with his warhammer. To you, Scanlan, you pull back, and the giant warhammer just swings past you, and you duck out of the way. Thankfully, though you're, the Durgar relatively small, you're much smaller as a gnome. You slip right out of the path of the actual hammer blow. After he swings past Scanlan, who ducks out of the way, one arrow just cruises over his head, and you hear cats scattering and clattering against the rocks in the distance. He looks over in your direction as the second one just grazes his shoulder. You can see a little bit of blood begin to spill, but it doesn't even turn his head towards the wound. He's still just glaring at you angrily, while you throw your dagger from behind, him not even aware of your presence currently.
Okay.
Do a really good job.
20 natural.
First of the night.
47.
All right. So, as he turns and the arrow strikes off his shoulder and he glares at you, Vex. He pulls back his hammer again, looking down at Scanlan, coming down for a blow to basically bash his skull in. But you stop suddenly as you see this blade protrude from the front of his skull. His glowing eyes fade back to a dull, pale, whitish color, and his body just slumps onto the ground as your dagger magically returns to your hand from below. Durgar down.
Queen Ulara, show yourself. Step out and talk to us. Everyone hold.
I want to step up behind Scanlan with a bear behind him and make him look more imposing.
All right.
I'm gonna kind of slink back into the shadows and turn into an earth elemental and sink into the ground.
Okay.
And hopefully they don't see that happen.
It's no longer Keyleth.
Whoa, you're huge!
Fades underneath the earth somewhere. Just sips into it almost like sand through an hourglass. You just vanish beneath the surface of the rock.
Great way to leave a party.
He steps forward, making a point to step angrily onto the corpse of the Durgar. You hear the crunching of bone and metal as she steps over his corpse.
Badass.
Percy, you're approaching as well?
I'm staying a little bit back.
Okay, it's about there?
Yeah, about there.
All right, Clonota's going to move off to the side here, and Pike is going to come and kind of get the center point where she feels the most applicable to heal.
I see what's going on. I rub my ring and I go invisible.
Okay.
Greater invisibility.
All right, so Tiberius also vanishes from view. You glance over your shoulder, Vex, and notice that Tiberius, he's just gone. Just vanished. Secondary Durgar now turns, and first I'll make a persuasion check.
There.
Oh, no, in this case, intimidation, I think is what this is going to be.
Do I roll again?
I'll say okay because it is a different skill.
22.
22. As you shout this, the Durgar grabs this war pick from his side, looks at you angrily, and begins to step forward as a giant grizzly bear, and the rest of the party kind of filters up behind you. He puts his pick to his side and yells off to his shoulder, "My queen, we've got company!" The flaps of the far end of the tent here open up. There's a dwarf there, not a Durgar, but a dwarf that is standing there to the side that steps out of the way, and Queen Ulara steps out as well. And you see her angrily look off to the side. Well then, it appears that we have some business to discuss. And she begins to step past the front of the fireway, stopping right next to the fire pit, just kind of keeping a good 15-foot distance with her arms crossed. The dwarf comes and flanks her on this side, and you now see an elf also flanking her. Normal-looking elf, dressed in looks like a fine chainmail attire, long sword at the side.
They could be charmed.
Queen Ulara, if I may have a word, let us spare each other lots of bloodshed and just have a chat before we fight. Is that all right?
Talk, small, annoying creature, and perhaps it'll delay the inevitable.
We, my friends and I, we've come from the above world, the normal world, let's say. to your fine kingdom down here below. And we were on a mission.
Hold that thought just for a second. Percy, go ahead and roll a perception check.
When it's out of the blue like that. It's
Oh
always
no!
10.
Oh no!
Wait, DM. Vax is creeping along the back of that tent and curving around.
All right.
Thank you.
We have come on a mission to save someone that you were holding captive. We have completed our mission. And in the melee in that hovel you called a palace back there, we lost one of our own, and we would like him back. Now, I'll make it very simple because my fellows are begging me to keep things simple. It's a simple binary choice. You can all die right now, or you can turn over our friend, and we will probably leave you in peace. I would promise, but I don't make promises to dogs.
Oh shit!
At that response, and you're noticing now, is getting a better glance at the queen too. Her normally white, pale Duragar eyes have a strange kind of green glowish hue to them, as do the two individuals to the right and left of her. You took my king from me, came and slayed him in his own throne room. You took something I love, I take something you love. He's mine now, and I'm bringing him to his greater destiny. At which point, a loud, horrendous streaking sound pierces the ears of everyone in this vicinity. Appearing out of a ripple of energy, a once invisible mind flare goes cascading out a mind blast in a cone that just tears through the entire group here. You double over, clutching your skull as the pain is too much to you to bear, and you find yourself unable to actually draw commands to your muscles and them to function. You are currently stunned. Trinket falls to the ground with this horrible sound, digging his nose into the actual dirt to try and find a way to escape this piercing mental agony. Both of you guys take 22 points of psychic damage, by the way.
Oh good.
Pike, also.
And Pike.
DM, I'm throwing a dagger at the queen.
Okay, now we roll initiative.
Okay,
folks.
thank you.
Percy, you're up first.
I'm basically going to pull my gun. I'm going to fire 4 times into the face of that awful screaming bastard.
Oh my god.
You're using your action surge to fire 2 additional times, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, wow, 4 rounds. Go for an attack. So the first one hits, the second one actually clips part of its chest, and you can see as it tries to use its psychic abilities to resist the bullet, it still pierces its chest on the side, missing everything vital, still causing it to suck in the air for a moment.
And I'm going to use some movement to dodge left to get out of the way of that guy.
Tiberius, you're up next.
I threw a fireball from my ring.
All of a sudden, there's a slight streak of reddish energy in the distance as y'all are watching. It looks almost like the fire pit behind them just explodes in this giant, fiery ball of red, angry, magical fury. The elf on this side ends up just being thrown to the side, and its entire body gets thrown about 20, 30 feet across from just the force of the explosion, landing on the ground lifeless next to you.
Oh, wow.
Ground, burnt cinder. The dwarf takes a brunt of it as well. Appears to still be alive, but looks very horribly burned and is kind of looking at its hands now, like barely standing.
And then I spend 2 sorcerer points to for an ice knife.
Before we get to that point, Grog, you also take the damage.
What?
Okay, fine. And I throw that right in the back of Queenie's head.
Right, so as you coalesce this arcane energy into this blue, kind of cold, freezing plume of moisture in your hand, it forms into this giant, jagged blade of ice, and you chuck it in the straight line. As these shards of ice from the back of Alara's torso explode into the spray of jagged ice chunks, it just pierces continuously the right side of this dwarf, who then falls to the ground, kind of gasping at his wounds and trying to stand to his feet before falling over unconscious.
And I have greater invisibility, so I'm still visible, and I just peek back behind the rock.
You come to consciousness in extreme pain as your entire body is immersed briefly in flame. But that in a second. Vex.
Okay, I'm going to use and stop right here by Clarota. Dagger at this jerk face over
Right here?
Yep.
All right.
36 total.
36 points of damage.
First
All right.
dagger.
So
Second dagger.
the Mind Flayer, which is, after it finishes a Mind Blast, you can see it beginning to eye what its next target would be as Percy goes running off to the side. It looks over at its 3 freshly stunned prey and begins to lumber towards what looks to be either Pike or Vex.
He's gonna try to suck its brain.
Before it gets a chance to advance, though, out of nowhere, your dagger pierces it in its shoulder. It looks down and grasps for it. As its hand tries to pull the dagger out, the dagger just disappears in a plume of black shadow energy back into your hand as you throw the other dagger.
8 of damage.
All right. The other dagger, the creature actually puts up a little bit of a psychic field for a second, and it stops its momentum as it does still manage to strike it, but with nowhere near the damage you were hoping it would. Scanlan.
I'm gonna just bum rush the queen.
Yes!
All right.
And just dive at her.
All right.
Just dive full head on straight for her and bear hug her with banishment. Oh yeah, baby!
Love banishment.
Okay. Okay, even with her spell resistance, she does not resist it. As you reach out, she pulls back. You can see her beginning to form this crackling bolt of energy you've seen once before in the throne room that shot out and hit multiple members of your party at once for a severe amount of damage. This would have been a very dangerous round if you hadn't have connected with her right in the front of her clavicle. She looks at you with this look of confusion and completely caught off guard frustration before her entire form blinks out of existence and is no longer visible on the board.
Barda.
Yes! I'm gonna give inspiration to Grog, because he needs it.
All right.
Okay.
So Grog, as the flames die down, you look over and watch Scanlan just rush up and completely, as far as you know, disintegrate the Duergar queen who took you and has been torturing you these past few days.
Wow.
With that, he looks over you and gives you a little wink and a smile. Go ahead and take an inspiration dice, which for him is now a D10.
Oh!
Well, it would be Alara's turn. She's going to go ahead and attempt to make her saving throw. Does not make it. It's still just somewhere in some other plane that you're unaware of.
Oh, she's in a better place.
Keela, it's your turn.
All right, I'm going to phase through the ground because I can,
Yeah.
and pop up right there next to Grog.
All right. Grog, you all of a sudden, as you look over from Scanlan with the smiling face, this giant mountain of rock and earth just lumbers up out of the ground.
Grog, it's okay. It's Keyleth. Seeing that he's still tied up, I'm just going to pick up the whole crate and put him over my No, I'm gonna football carry him like this.
Okay.
I'm gonna start football rushing that way.
This way? Mm-hmm. All right, 1, 2. All right, there we go.
Get the fuck out!
We're now being carried by this giant lumbering earth elemental that's just bringing you under its arm. Vex. Do you make your saving throw?
Oh, okay. 23.
23. Using your mind, you shrug off the remainder of the ability. That does in your turn, but you're no longer stunned, which is nice. So Triggit's still on the ground, like slowly digging his nose into the dirt, trying to find a way to escape. Not more damage, but currently is just unable to function.
Streaming upon
Okay.
me.
Pike is also going to try to make a saving throw. Fails it, unfortunately. Pike is still now dropped her shield, dropped her mace, and is just clutching the side of her head, screaming silently as the pain is just racking her brain from the inside. This Duergar, who's going to rush over to the one who just banished his queen and attempt to, as his physical form begins to swell with strength and frustration, the Duergar swings at you with his war pick. That is...
Oh, don't hit me! I cast a little what is it?
Cutting words?
Cutting words? Cutting words?
Okay. It was a 4, so it takes that down from 16 to a 12, which does miss.
He misses!
So as he rushes towards you...
Oh, don't hit me!
He stops for a second, confused, like, but he puts the war pick down for a second, like, wait, you gnome! Does not know why he listened to you, and is equally frustrated with himself now as he is you.
So good.
Kima's gonna try and make her saving throw. Kima does make it, does shrug off the effect, turns around angrily, holding the great sword that you gave her, staring off at the Mind Flayer right there. Clarota, however, is going to go ahead and turn this way. Coalesce a giant ball of electrical energy into his hand and release an arcing blast of lightning energy towards this Mind Flayer. As the blue energy arcs off, the Mind Flayer visibly is like burned, charred, wounded. It looks really, really rough. The Mind Flayer looks at a certain circumstance.
Oh, no.
Puts its hands together like this, seems to concentrate.
I see it, I counterspell.
Yes! Yes!
Well, then.
Okay. As this entity you've seen before, they tend to create this small, localized portal into some other plane and then step through and vanish. You see it begins to coalesce the same arcane energy, and for a moment you see a spark of some sort of doorway begin to open as Tiberius steps from behind the rock, releases this torrent of sparkling arcane energy that closes the gate entirely, and the Mind Flayer for a second looks confused before it, across the way to wherever it came from and sees nothing.
Oh, so sorry.
and is going to turn tail and run.
Just running?
With his feet?
Well, yeah, essentially just
They all float
levitating
down
away.
here. I'll take a step forward. I'm going to continue moving. This is going to be a running shot.
Okay, so
run it.
as you turn, pull your gun up to the side and kind of offhand fire. All right, so as you turn the corner, you fire once, take another step forward, go click over the next barrel, fire a second time. The first blow hits the war pick, knocking him out of his hands. He looks over confused at you as the second blast hits him right in the side of the face, completely destroying this side of his head entirely.
Gosh.
This wet gurgle as the Durgar slumps into the ground, almost on top of you, but you step out of the way as his body just poof, hits the ground
Nice.
right there.
Nice, Jose.
Yeah, screw it. I'll do another fireball at the illithid going away. Like, where do you think you're going?
Okay. So, as you fired this beam over here, it detonates in the distance, safely far enough away from the party. Okay, as the Mind Flayer's like drifting away, you guys see this arc of red kind of beaming energy off the distance. You see rocks cascade off the top of the wall, hitting the ground with a force as the entire tunnel shakes and rocks. As the smoke and the flames dissipate, all you see is this pile of blackened creature on the ground from where the Mind Flayer once stood.
Oh, peace out!
Fellows, gather around. She might come back at any moment, and we should be here to surround her when she comes back.
yeah.
And someone get Grog out of that thing.
Grog,
Well,
while they're all doing this, what do you want to do?
am I still chained up to the car?
Yeah, you're still like, these iron bands are across your entire
Being
body.
carried by an earth element.
Excuse me, giant rock thing. Could you perhaps get me out of this shit?
Laura still can't make her saving throw for the life of her, even with resistance. As the rest of you all slowly trudge up and kind of gather around this vicinity.
Grog, are you hurt?
I can't tell yet.
I'm just keeping my distance.
All right, so
that would be fun,
the Earth
though.
Elemental lumbers forward, presents the cart to the ground in front of you. One of the wheels kind of
Thank you.
cracks a little bit in the process.
A little space. Give me a little space. Let me look at this.
The band that's partway across the waist just kind of opens freely on the hinge on the one side.
Is there just one?
Yeah, just that was the one he did.
Oh my god.
So go ahead and make an athletics check. I mean, there's multiple bands around you. There's one across your shoulders, your torso, your legs, your
I'll move
ankles.
down to the next one.
Does anybody have
They
healing
strapped him
spells?
down.
I'm going to recommend to Pike that she do a bit of healing.
Pike, can you heal Trinket? He's really almost dead.
Mike comes over and is going to spend a third level healing spell. Trinket heals 21. You pick the next one, and with that remaining push on you, you just force the rest of the bands off. There we go. At this point in time, there's a slight ripple in the space right before this this fire pit, and in that same place, Queen Ulara, reappears again.
Hold
I'm waiting for it.
Oh, I see it, and I cast Hold Person.
Okay. As you finish the spell, you can see the this kind of glow of yellowish holding energy, almost like these mystical shackles begin to tighten around her, and then fade unaffected.
Well, then I can release
also
the
cast
arrow.
Hold Person.
Okay, as you release your arrows, go ahead and roll for your attack. All right. You can see now the second set of shackles spins around her. She brings her hand up like this, and they just scatter around her, resisting the second whole person.
I hunter's marker as well.
Oh, there you go.
That's 16 total.
I bear hug her.
All right, you bound up behind her as she looks over her shoulder, like the arrow piercing her shoulder. She's looking a little rough. You see the blood beginning to kind of pool underneath her robe there. Her eyes go wide.
It would be in your best interest to not struggle.
At which point, the giant arms go behind her, and the Earth Elemental lifts her off of her feet, and she. All right. So, let's make a deal, shall we?
You're in no place to negotiate.
Yes, we have everything that we've come here for. What can you possibly offer us that we don't already have?
Valid point. What purpose do I serve you? You should let me go.
Let you go? I tried to talk to you and you almost tried to get us killed.
Vox Machina, our purposes are here are done, but Lady Kima, she has further to go, and I am curious, Your Highness, if you know anything about this Kavan chap or
I have a
gal
feeling
or
she
thing. We've heard his or her name. They seem to be famous in these parts. Was wondering if you know anything about Kavan.
I know many things. She kind of leans forward a little bit and then just spits right in your face. As Clodagh steps forward, putting his hand out, this voice kind of echoes through all of your minds communally. No. Tell us what you know. And you see his eyes flicker with this strange blue energy.
And he's gotta eat.
And you see Ular's eyes glaze over, and Ular stops struggling, and the mouth goes into this weird grin for a second and just calmly says, liberation. Liberation is what it brings us. Liberation from physical limitation. Liberation from the pain of the light. And she looks up as she says that. We all shall rise. Kavarn, the guiding darkness. The sun shall hold no sway, and we shall walk the surface once again.
What is Kavan?
Kavarn came to us, showed us how, through unification, we could be better.
I
than we
didn't ask
ever
what
were.
he did, I asked what he is.
Kavarn. At which point there's a shudder in her body, and the eyes go from the strange blue color to this strange swimming black that covers the entirety of each eye. At which point she kind of shakes for a second. You see the blackness now has that same kind of green glow that the rest of them had, but it's kind of framing the pools of shadow that her eyes have become. Her jaw falls slack for a second, and this voice comes through. There. There we are. I can see you all so clearly.
Not me!
You'd be surprised, Dragonborn.
Oh, you're pretty good.
Word has reached my ears. But to see you, to look upon you is everything. Come. You are close, yes. Come to me as my guests. I invite you. The temple doors are open. You're already on the right path. Come to me. You are my treasured guests. Which point, the blackness in the eyes begins to intensify and begin to spill like black tears from the face. Her body shudders before the back kind of convulses and then falls limp, a little bit of smoke rising from the mouth.
Try to heal her.
Does she have anything awesome on that we can take?
I wasn't gonna say it.
You're eluding
I
her
was
already?
I was waiting for someone else to say it.
What a mercenary.
You do notice there is a silver circlet across her forehead that does give off a sort of magical aura.
Ooh, shiny.
She carries on her one viscous, kind of reddish potion. It is a potion of greater healing. There is another potion that has almost a blue frosty color to it, and as you take the vial from where it sits in the rest, the actual glass that contains the liquid has a frost, like a layer of frost crystals around it.
And could I ask Pike to heal me, because I look like a game of tic-tac-toe?
Okay.
I know, we should check on Grog.
Oh, no, don't think of me, please. I've only been fucking missing for 2
You're standing
weeks.
up, I'm so happy you're
How to
back
loot
with
the
us.
bodies, buddy. How to loot the bodies.
I dropped my earth elemental form.
Okay. The earth around your form seems to just crumble like a layer of rock. Hits the ground and kind of dissolves into the stone beneath
See,
you.
I told you it was Keelan.
Were you watching? Were you watching, Grog? Grog, you weren't watching.
I totally was. It was amazing what you did.
I'm proud of you.
Could you do it again?
After we take a short rest.
And you find...
Could you do that
that
cheer
was my
where I
own
feel a
song.
lot
Like
better
it.
after you do it?
Pike comes up and says, I'm sorry, God goes over and
Share some of these.
places
Yeah,
her hands
give one
upon
to
you.
Stanley. He doesn't have a head spot.
As she's about to,
Doesn't
Chemo
have anything on his
kind of
head.
pushes her aside and
Okay.
says, I've got this.
Now you're
Walks
saying
up and you can see
I take it off.
this divine glowing energy
Please touch me.
fills her hands. She reaches out and touches you and this warmth fills it. This warmth fills your torso. Using her lay hands ability,
Stop it.
Lady Kima of Ward heals you for
Heals everything.
30 points of damage. 20 for the day.
Oh, now again. Thank you, Kima.
After Kima finishes healing you, Kima walks over to the dwarf corpse as you're inspecting it and kind of gives it a look over and shakes her head. This is one of my companions.
Oh no.
Well, judging by the scars across his body, he had already been made a thrall of one of the Philid.
Is that what they would have done to Grog?
And then as you guys all look at Grog now, you can see him. He has hundreds upon hundreds of small scars across his body, fresh wounds that have kind of just barely sealed. It looks like they've done a number on him with a bunch of small blades, hooks, razors. It's hard to tell, but he is just coated with small cuts.
It's been interesting.
You look really manly now.
Now.
I want to talk to my team.
Okay.
I'll distract her. I'll distract
Kima.
I might be better at that.
Whoa.
Okay.
Kima, can you
You be nice.
Can you take a walk with me? I would like to persuade you to take a walk.
Don't take his money.
Kima gives you a concerned look and goes,
It's just, there's this thing on my body. I thought maybe you could take a look at it and you could tell me if it's good or bad.
oh dear, no, please.
I use my minor illusion to create like a purple third nipple on me that I sort of show her and ask her if it's okay or if it's just kind of.
Okay.
Is this normal?
None of this is normal.
I mean, it's just I trust you. I feel like I know you. And then Keyleth was yelling at you. What was that all about?
We're all
Let's
under a
girl
lot of
talk.
duress. We're
Let's
under a
girl
lot of
talk.
duress.
I can.
And more and more things, people have emotions, and I understand that. It's all right. And she pulls the leather gloves off that are part of the leather armor set, and he kind of begins to inspect you. In the meantime, you guys continue your discussion.
I think we should get out of here.
What? Why?
Look, we've got Grog. We've got Kima. We came here to find Kima. That was our mission. I don't trust her.
We found her, but we can't leave without her.
We were sent here to bring back Kima.
I know.
She's not going to come with us until we've killed this Karan.
That's true.
What's your problem with Kima?
Yeah.
She just gave me the wrong vibe up front.
Okay, vibe. What did she do?
She's been very rude.
She's been very tortured. She tortured Keyleth.
True.
Right. But look what happened. She's brought countless people down here, only to meet their end.
Well, none of those people are us.
Right. But
They
not
met their
yet.
end because they got captured. We're stronger.
Do you know something we don't, Keyleth?
Look, all I know is that only a fool believes that his path is the most virtuous. See? And he's got an intelligence
I
of
want to
6.
use my insight check on Keyleth.
Okay.
I want to see her intentions.
Woo! Inside the group check. I love it.
14.
A 14.
The whisper. The first whisper.
Wait, get on camera. Get on camera. Over here.
Whisper in camera. He used to do this all the time.
Yeah.
When shit goes down and all of us can't know, he whispers.
As you finish your statement as well, Clarota steps up and says,
I wholeheartedly agree. She is unstable. Cannot be trusted in her state.
Look,
Hold on a second. That's unfair. That's unfair.
why?
It has been a long road. Keyleth, I know you've had a hard time. We all have. I know we're miles below the surface of the world. We're together. We are family. And everyone here is here for you as you have been for us. Now I say we camp for the night inside this schmuck's tent. We stay here, we rest up, sleep on it, and see how we're all feeling in the morning. We're here for you, Keyleth. We will protect you as you have protected us. You've got a family with us.
How do we know we're doing the right thing? We killed a lot of people.
Who in this world is without fault? Who hasn't made mistakes? We
Keyleth.
certainly all have.
We're keeping him, Kavan, from killing even more.
How do we know we're not just interfering with issues that aren't our own? We didn't know of any of this until we came down here. And look, she wants to take the horn. She wants the horn, and she wants to take it back herself.
The bottom line is,
Why don't
all
we-
of this insanity is going to bubble up to the surface
It
if
already
someone
has
doesn't
been.
stop it.
All those creatures that have been coming up, Keyleth.
Remember, think back. It has already begun, and no one is here to stop it except for VOX MACHINA. Us.
You promise
We will heed your warning, but we can't run. We will heed it, though.
A lot of people. There have been a lot of murderers who did the things that they did because their gods told them to do it.
But
right?
We'll be cautious and we'll have you to protect us.
I dissipate invisible, and I approach Keyleth.
Your Highness, by the honor of all Stormwinds, I will let nothing happen to you. I swear it. I will fight till my death. And I have ways, of course, to get us all out of here whenever I damn well please. That's true.
That's true.
So do not worry.
I just have a bad feeling.
About this.
This horn can't make it back up to the surface. You guys have to promise me that.
We'll keep the horn from leaving.
She wants to take it back. Why? If it's that bad, why does she want it?
That may be so. But the evil that is brewing beneath the surface of the world will stretch up to everything we know. And I know that you have made mistakes. I have certainly made mistakes. That is to live. There is more at stake right now, and we are the front line. We're the only ones that can stop it. Mistakes are all right.
God in darkness will blot out the light.
I just hope we're not the darkness.
I think we're all a little afraid.
Don't want anyone.
I think we need to rest.
Conscious.
Let's set up camp.
Yeah, let's camp.
Kima steps in and points us. I agree. We have quite a journey ahead of us. And at which point Clorta pipes up and says,
Indeed. We're not too far from Yug'voril. Let us rest.
Kima. I just wanted to apologize.
It's honestly not a worry. War is stressful, and all of us have been through a lot through this experience. I understand. I've been where you've been, and it's not uncommon to question everything around you. And with good reason. That's what keeps you alive. Were you to believe every person that crossed your path, you would not have made it to past your 15th season. I can assure you, as best as I can, that I mean the best for all of us. I just know that if we don't do what we're here to do, far more people will suffer than the few I've brought down here to protect me and for me to protect. I'm not asking for your trust, just asking for your patience.
Well, I can grant you that. Only if you promise to grant us respect in return. As I feel you were a little untrusting of what we were doing up front, which I once again understand, but...
You caught me at a rough time.
So, same here.
So after an evening's rest, taking your respective turns keeping watch, all of you come to consciousness once more. Kurota anxiously sits at the edge of the camping facility, looking deeper into the tunnel ahead, just keeping his eyes peeled into the darkness. Kurota seems slightly impatient at the edge as everyone's waking up and goes,
Come, ahead we shall find it, Yug'voril.
That's your city?
Beautiful city of secrets.
I thought your people had thrown you out. Why so eager to get back?
Without the colony, I serve no purpose. I am wandering aimless. I wish to return to the Elder Brain to save my city. Then they shall have me back, hero.
And if they don't?
They will. I can sense it.
If not, you have a home with us.
Thank you.
He begins to drift down into the dark tunnel further below.
We follow?
Yeah, we follow.
Our people, we are in structured society. Together we provide for each other. Broken into creeds, we functioned rather pleasantly.
Clarota seems pretty excited to get home. I'm worried for him.
Worried for him?
Yes.
Or for his effect on the group?
I'm worried that they won't take him back and what that will do to his state.
I walk over to Lady Kima and I say, how's that greatsword been treating you?
She walks and she's kind of using it almost like a stick in the dirt as she takes a step. You know, it's served its purpose so far. I just, I wish that vault wasn't lost.
Right.
It might not.
Leather isn't my idea of defensive.
Would you fancy a trade, Kima? I have elven chainmail if that would help you.
Perhaps.
I could take that leather armor off your hands. No, actually, the chainmail isn't right for me.
Certainly. she looks to you specifically.
Stick figure.
Stick figure.
Got it. We're good.
Perhaps we'll find a more modest place to swap, but yes, I agree.
Dang, I should bring that forward.
The air begins to grow steadily colder and colder. The temperature itself, you begin to see your breath a little bit in the air.
As we walk, Vax falls in next to Keelik. Mm-hmm. Are you alright?
I'm doing okay.
You are.
Yeah. Why?
Everything you said last night was true. Where have you?
We're having a discussion of how best to go about this.
Are our feet leaving footprints?
Subtle ones.
Son of a bitch! Just a traceless everywhere! We're good.
We've missed our little flower girl.
I know.
And you start seeing small bits of bluish crystal jutting in small pockets out of cracks in
Did you say
the
that
rock, which Pike makes notion. Yes, I saw this in my vision too.
Right.
Oh.
I take out one of my daggers. I'm gonna chip away some and just take a couple of chunks.
Actually, let's grab a few chunks. I may have an idea for
13
later.
for my nature check?
I'm putting a few away
Not
from
that
me.
great.
All right.
It's all right.
Throw a few into the bag of holding.
Grog,
Okay.
your accent.
I will say, go ahead and make an Arcana check as well.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh.
It's hard pressed to find out where these crystals came from, what their source is, or what they're actually like. If they naturally are here, or if they're put there for some other means. But the crystals do have a very, 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 very faint magical residual energy to them. Like useless almost. It's the equivalent of finding crumbs at the bottom of a cereal box. Like it's there. You could see at one point there was something magical about their presence or their creation, but it is long, long, long faded.
Cool. Sweet.
Both Vax and Vex simultaneously notice a part of the wall to the left that is actually visibly cracked in what appears to be almost like a narrow passage that juts off to the left. The passage is very, very thin. It can maybe fit you individually, barely fit Grog when you actually go through the passage properly.
It's pretty spacious in here, I think.
Well, no, yes. You can see it's a small kind of roundish oval chamber. You glance to the floor and notice what appear to be 6 long dead bodies strewn across the ground.
How long dead?
Skeletal and covered in webs.
No spiders.
So who's in there? Just Vax right now?
Just now Vax. You do notice the way they're adorned, they were an adventuring party. They were people who came down here long ago for whatever reason, and the last destination was this small cavernous space. Each one of their skulls has a giant hole bored into the bone itself from different places in the skull.
Different places.
I'm gonna start searching all of them.
The rest of you guys make it one by one, and it's a small room. All of
I
these.
hang out outside with Trinket and Grog.
Okay, you guys hang out there. 2 of the bodies are male humans. There are 2 dwarven bodies. One's male, one's female.
For armor. Look for armor.
1 female gnome and 1 half-orc.
Okay.
You do find buried in the dirt under the gnomish female looks to be a pristine ruby. Worth probably quite a bit. You come across the dwarven male is still fully armored.
Ooh.
Actually has like a golden chainmail on and is clutching what looks like a metal maul. The rest of them have no armor or no weapons, but this one is just still fully adorned. And you also notice that the female dwarven corpse, while devoid of any accoutrement, any coin purses, belts, or anything, does have kind of hidden within the bony clavicle, with a little bit of like stretched, dried skin is pulled against it, a pendant that is gleaming blue.
Well, I grab the pendant.
Oh,
and then
you pull the pendant. And you look at it, and it has a very beautiful sapphire emblem. You kind of rub the dust off of it and look at it, and you recognize this emblem. This is the emblem that adorns House Thunderbrand.
Naturally.
Of Craghammer. Nice. You turn it over on the back, and there's an engraving on the back that says, "For Lorna, my love."
Lorna?
Oh, didn't he say to bring back some stuff from the Underdark?
And this is what we need.
Amulet of the Shield.
It effectively acts as a shield spell once per day. Or you go over to the armor, you get an armor for Pike instead. Alright, as you reach out and grab the golden chainmail on it, the cold air around the chainmail is noticeably piercingly cold to the touch. Make a constitution save.
Oh, that's why it's so. Oh no!
What was it?
1. Natural 1.
We have a natural 1.
You hear the sudden, this like clenching of breath, and you glance over real fast and find Vax has fallen onto his back and his fingers are curled back, and you can see this like dark energy that just kind of seeps into his body for a second. You sense this like sapping of your strength, and your breath is shallow, and you imagine this is what an elderly person would feel like. You just have this lack of energy. Right. As you're saying this, Pike runs over to you, Kima runs over to you, and they both kind of take a look at you, and they both kind of agree, like, well, it appears this dwarven individual, when he came to his end, left a very strong curse behind on his body. You are considered cursed, which means you have disadvantage on all your ability checks and attacks.
You're cursed.
Oh, is he old too?
Wait, how do you get rid of this?
No, it's just...
There are spells like remove curse. At which point, Kima steps forward and pushes everyone away for a second, concentrates, and she reaches up and grabs the holy symbol of Bahamut, and it glows with this kind of vibrant silver light, and the light travels down her arm to her hands to her fingers, and she places it out and reaches towards the armor, and as she touches it, she winces slightly, but you see this kind of glowing, dark, furious anger, this like face arise out of the armor, giving off this slight whispering howl sound, this and then dissipate. She reaches over and touches you with her hand.
Oh, yay!
And the curse is lifted.
Oh, that was easy.
I clasp Kima by the hand and say, nice. That is one I owe you.
To be honest, I just really wanted the armor. She takes the golden chain off of the body. She finds a cranny in the room. She puts on the chainmail, replacing the leather armor she gives back.
As we leave the cavern, I give one of these, the dwarven buddies.
You swear you hear a slight shift in bone. And silence left behind in darkness.
I'm gonna take the
Hey, did you do the armor back? Can I have the armor?
No, I can't give it to you.
I can have it.
Sorry, sis.
Please.
Kima.
No, she gave it back. She gave it back.
Wait, my armor?
Yeah.
I gave it to him. He gave it to her.
And I'm
You're
taking
taking it. Hold on a
Too
second.
late. It's on, brother.
No.
Let's just keep moving, all right? Let's just keep moving.
I grab her by the ear and say, "That's mine. That's mine.
Come on, I
That's
need
mine."
it.
So that's
Sibling
Squeezing her earlobe really hard.
Roll.
Yeah, you two roll. Go for it.
Shit. It's mine.
Sibling justice.
They played arm punch until one game.
It's mine. It's mine.
It's not fair.
Now what does it do?
Can we go find
I'm not
the ball now,
fucking figure it out.
And as you continue for about another 20 or 30 minutes, some of you begin to pick up what sounds like the distant lapping of waves against the shore.
What?
That's never good.
Eventually you come around a bend, and the tunnel opens up into a humongous cavern housing an underground lake circling a large island. On the edges of the wall that are closest to you, as the island disappears into darkness about 100 feet ahead of you, there are these blue crystals that you've seen throughout this tunnel, completely covering the walls of this entire cavern. There's only maybe bits and places around the wall about 5-10 feet across where there'll be no crystal. Otherwise, it's just gray stone and blue crystal jutting from the sides.
I go over to one of the crystal walls and I cast daylight, trying to see if I can emanate it up through the dome.
You notice that from the whatever crystal vein structure some of these are connected with, some of them tend to glow in spots. But you see it's kind of localized. All this crystal isn't interconnected, is what this tells you. The hard stone surface you guys have been walking on for this tunnel begins to give way into like a coarse sand, almost like a gravelly shore. And it appears to be fresh water. It's clear. The smell is a little musty, but not too bad. And you approach and you can see there's just very gentle, very soft waves that occasionally lap up on the shore, but only a few inches. There's not a whole lot of motion to the water within this cavern. So there's this lake circling this large island across the way. You also see on this side of the shore, central, there is a large stone bridge that arches over the lake and makes landfall about roughly 200 feet to the other side at the very, very tip closest to you of this island. You can see just faintly on the edge of this island a glowing bioluminescent fungal forest that covers a large portion of this island's top side. The edges of it you can see rise up into little like cliffs that have eroded over time and are kind of rather stark in places.
Clarota, is this in any way dangerous?
Clarota, as you look over, it's just like kind of gliding into the cavern. It's the closest thing you could imagine seeing a mind flayer to smiling. He's looking about and kind of just, in response to you, a few moments later, says,
"We're near home."
You look over and on the far left side of the shore, you can see just below the waterline what looks like a sunken boat or two.
I can't see shit.
It's mystical.
There's a sunken boat in the lake. Clarota,
I do not know. Many things wander these tunnels beyond my kin. We are but one of its denizens.
who's a good swimmer?
Me. I'm actually a really good swimmer.
Me?
It's everything.
I
How do you know if you're swimming though?
run over to the edge of the water and I do a swan dive, and as I swan dive, I turn into a shark in the water.
I run to the water as well, and I fucking cannonball.
So Keela's form jumps into the air, this thin, lithe, half-elven figure that then turns into this giant shark beast that sploosh into the water underneath. A few moments later, big splashing sound. Glancing down below, you get a brief view. You see it too. There are approximately 2.5 boats that are made of some sort of a combination of wood and metal, like a heavily rusted iron. One of them looks mildly serviceable. The other one is broken with a large hole in the bottom of it.
I do a lap.
Okay.
Go check it out.
You do a couple laps. Nothing really catches your eye.
I go and I see the Grog's underwater and I flipper him and I go up under him and I hold on. Here we go.
Giant shark comes up onto you and just kind of nudges you aggressively and lifts you towards the surface. You guys all watch as Grog is now riding a shark.
Clarota, is that mushroom forest? I mean, is that your home?
Should we go there? Should we skip it, Clarota?
The forest certainly surrounds the city.
Oh.
I carry Grog over to the island.
There are many places of entry within this cavern.
And you see Clarota kind of concentrate for a second. And within all of your minds, you suddenly have a very clear image of this entire cavern. Its layout, what strange shape it is, where the general overlook is, and as clear as day,
it's being.
you have an entire visual of the inside of this cavern. So you guys reside.
We swim up to the top, and we come back to the shore, and you're just in the water still. Yes? What?
What's down there? Do you need help?
It looks
Should we go
like
look?
it looks like some kind of boat.
Yes, there's.
That's all you got.
There's boats. We
My
saw boats.
perception is shit.
Well, should we try again with someone who has better
You
perception?
want me to go down there?
Absolutely.
I take out one of my bottles right before I go under. My bottle there.
My what?
Air bottle.
Oh, air bottle. Oh yeah.
You see the bubbles breaking on the surface, and then eventually the bubbles stop.
Grog.
And so,
Aquarius may have drowned. You don't know.
so I'm
I can see him.
I just kind of swim over there. I use my tail.
But yeah, you see there are 2.5 boats essentially.
Push it, my ironstone, and direct telekinesis to lift up the boat out of.
So you're putting your ironstone on as opposed to your.
He gave the other one to me.
Yeah, I.
Got you.
Okay. I still
okay. There's a rustle in the waves on the surface of the water as you see all of a sudden this bowing and splashing begins to occur. The ship begins to rise out of the sediment to the bottom of the lake.
I'm trying just to get right on the lip.
It gets up, it's filled with water, you tip it on its side and spill the rest of the water out. There is still a large hole on the bottom of the boat, like on the inside. And you carry it over back to the surface of the shore and rest it gently onto the rock.
I could repair the boat, in theory. I'm going to make a list of things that I'm going to need. I may have to send them down for more parts of the boat. For the other boats.
The telekinesis is still in effect currently, so if you wanted to do that now.
Bring up the broken boat.
Okay,
spare parts.
It comes back with the half boats, and you take a while with it. It takes a little longer than anticipated, but you have your general tools with you. You hammer away. About an hour and a half to 2 hours later, you're sweating. Your muscles are sore, but you feel like you've managed to get the hole for the most part patched. Now it's just to test its buoyancy.
I start pushing the boat back in the water, and I jump in and start jumping up and down.
Okay. You jump in, or you push it in, you leap into the boat.
That's the ultimate test.
It gives to the 600 pounds that are grog. It splashes a bit, it lifts, it seems to be holding. It's leaving ripples in the water.
Okay.
Can I tow them?
I was about to say, we can make a harness out of rope.
Yeah.
Take out the magic carpet, and I hop on that.
I get on the magic carpet with.
You hug the far edge of the water, pushing across. Eventually you come to this choke point here. You look over and you can see the forest. Indeed, they appear to be trees, but now you have a better view of it, maybe about 400 or 500 feet off from you right now. That bioluminescent glow, this very faint glow, is given off by all the plant life, all these giant fungal trees. You do see the tops of a few buildings in the very, very distance. The color of the stone, from what you can make out, is almost like a jade mixed with like a gray marble. And you can just faintly make off in the distance one large pyramid-like structure that comes to a flattened precipice on top. And there's a very, very faint greenish glow at the very top that matches the coloration of that same glow you saw in the eyes of Queen Ulara earlier and the rest of the denizens that were in her party.
Should we land on the beach and check out that little cave?
Yeah. Yes, I think that's an excellent idea.
We're all very curious.
All right.
I scoop up Scanlan and go piggyback style like he's my son. And jump on the beach.
Everyone who's entering the cavern, go ahead and make a stealth check. As you guys, not so stealthily, begin to march into the tunnel, and then eventually it opens up into this larger space. And as you enter the room, partway through this tunnel, the scent changes dramatically. That cold, kind of still water smell begins to give way to this terrible, sulfurous, rotting smell. There appears to have been some sort of a struggle. There are bedrolls and sheets kind of strewn about and soiled and burned and torn across the floor. You can see a semblance of what was a fire pit, but all the soot and ash has been smeared across the ground to the outside of it. There appears to be like a half-buried, like a chest or a container off in the far corner, and you can see what looks to be 4 dead bodies, not too long state of decay. Like you still see flesh and skin, but like there's some bone peeking through, and they're all just kind of slumped against the ground. As you begin to approach the chest, you notice one of the bodies shift. Its head kind of rolls around and looks at you.
Pike? Percy, I'm dead.
All right, we're on our way. Pike, come on.
All right, as you guys get out of the boat and begin rushing in that direction, you notice the one body kind of looking over at you with this weird grin. You've had a few encounters with zombies or undead creatures that unnaturally move. This one has an intelligence to it that disturbs you. We will get to that at the top of our next session.